News Now at 6:30.
Last week, CCSD's budget revealed there would not be enough money for teacher pay raises, but then Governor Steve Sisolak remained firm, saying teachers will get a raise. Joining us now live to discuss the district is CCSD Superintendent Dr. Jesus Jara. Thank you for being here.
Thank you, Brian. Thank you for having me.
A little bit of confusion on this with the back and forth with the comments you made and the comments Governor Sisolak made. It did engender some confusion for those reporting on it and those CCSD parents watching right now. What can you tell them, especially those teachers that are concerned they're not going to get a pay raise, to really clarify this issue?
Yeah, well, no, thank you for having me. And actually, you know, what I've said is what I said to the board and where we presented our tentative budget. It is a tentative budget. When we looked at the revenue coming in, you know, when you look at our payroll, it's very simple. You know, it's a $2 billion payroll, so a 3% and a 2% roll-up is $100 million, right? We're getting in the revenue projections that we're seeing coming in this session is $55 million. So there's a gap coming in. You know, one of the things that we're looking at with that internal revenue coming, the revenue coming in, the $55 million, is giving us enough money to really cover our increased costs. Our two new schools that we're getting, we're looking at an increase in PERS. We're looking at some of these other issues that we're seeing that we've made cuts in the past to now increase. So the $55 million is getting us to where we are today as a whole without the raises. So those are some of the conversations. I've had conversations with leadership in Carson City around it. My CFO has talked to the state Governor Sisolak's CFO as well. So we're looking at where the numbers are. But I think we'll get there. You know, it is a priority of this board, my board and myself, to really compensate our employees as a whole. So it is a commitment that, you know, as I said at our board meeting, it's critical for us to honor our employees, all our educators, and compensate them. But, you know, as superintendent, as executive of this organization, I have to really cover my internal costs increase before we start looking at some of the things. So it's just a matter of getting and reconciling the numbers.
Is it a matter of timing for the viewers that have emailed me or commented on our respective Facebook pages? So am I going to get a raise or not? Is it a matter of you will, but maybe not next academic year? How do we answer that man or woman that's teaching in CCSD?
Well, I think we're both committed, not only the governor, but Assemblyman Farson as well. We're committed to make sure that our teachers, our educators are compensated, and we see that coming through. So, you know, at this point, you know, we're looking and looking at somewhere else where we can bring in revenue, locally, not locally, within our the current budget that we have, and categoricals and different things that we can look at, see possibly that we can increase some of the things that we need to do so we can compensate all our employees.
Switching gears briefly, my colleague Steve Sebelius just reported on Read by 3, the Friday deadline. Since 2015, it's been there. The threat of maybe doing away with that holdback. What is your take as a longtime educator on Read by 3 and the importance of it potentially?
Yeah, no, and actually I commented on, you know, there's a great report, and actually we've been working with Assemblyman Thompson on that because, you know, we know the research is very clear that retention doesn't work. You know, that hasn't worked forever, but also social promotion. So what good cause exemptions do you put in? And that's part of what we're looking at and really working with Assemblyman Thompson to address the need of the students. Is it one test not mastering proficiency? Is that enough? And one of the things that we've had conversations is really providing interventions, good cause exemptions for that student to be able to show and demonstrate mastery. Whether it's summer, whether it's throughout that first, you know, quarter coming back in, and is it a portfolio type for us to be able to work with students to make sure that when they move on to 4th grade that we can address their needs. And that's one of the things that we have been working with Assemblyman Thompson and the department on.
I'm getting wrapped up here, but briefly, so if it's not one thing or the other, being held back or social promotion, it almost sounds like you're saying it would be a happy medium.
It has to be, and that's the thing. We're looking at, you know, we're looking at the child. You're retaining them in 3rd grade doesn't work. So it's how do we then move them to 4th grade, and how do we then provide that support so that we know what are the deficiencies. And those are some of the things that we're looking at as a school system to address.
Okay, we have so much more to cover. These interviews are live, folks. We don't pre-tape this, so we're going to get to more topics with Dr. Jara. We're speaking with you every month. We appreciate you being here. We're going to send it back now over to Christiane at the desk.
Certainly.